Hello friends, this is Nirmal here for Technique, and you're watching the detailed review of the latest entry-level smartphone from Motorola, the Moto E. So this phone was announced a few days back, and it comes after the huge success of the popular phone Moto G. That was a mid-range phone which Motorola announced a few months back, and after the success Motorola has announced Moto E. So this was announced in India and now available for purchase exclusively from Flipkart. So we'll have a detailed review of this device with respect to its design, features, performance, and also the battery life. So first up, we'll have a quick look at the specs. So this comes with a 4.3-inch QHD display, that's 960 by 540 pixels, and it runs on a Snapdragon 200 dual-core 1.2 processor, and it also has 1 GB of RAM. There's 4 GB internal storage, which can be expanded via micro SD card to 32 GB, and then it also comes with a 5 megapixel camera. There is no flash included, and it also comes with a fixed focus camera. You don't have a front facing camera on this device, and apart from that you also have the front facing speakers on the top. Now that's the quick specs of this device, and this runs on Android 4.4.2 KitKat. So that's one of the best aspects of this device. So entry level phone with Android KitKat, and it's priced around 7,000 in India. So overall, going by the specs and the price point, this is a really good phone. We'll quickly compare this, quickly analyze this phone and see whether it's really worth the price. So let's first have a look at the design, build, and the display. The design of Moto E is very similar to its bigger brother Moto G, and has a curved back cover and feels nice to hold in hands. The back cover has a matte finish and feels premium, and the top panel has a glossy finish to it. The device comes with volume keys and power button on the right side, and the micro USB slot is at the bottom, and there is 3.5mm audio jack at the top. There are also speakers available on the front panel, but the Moto G had speakers at the back. Now this comes with a 4.3-inch display, which is having a resolution of 960 by 540. That's much better than what you see on other phones in this price range, which is around the WVGA resolution. So at the back you can see the 5 megapixel camera. This is a fixed focus camera, and there is no flash included in this. The build quality of the device is really good and feels premium, and the Motorola has not cut down on the quality when compared to Moto G. So it has almost the same fit and finish and the build quality of the Moto G in the Moto E as well. And the display is pretty good, and the colors and contrast ratios are pretty good, and the viewing angles are also pretty good. So overall, in the fit and finish and the display aspect, this device is really good, and you would say that the quality of materials used is really good on this device. Now moving on to the software and performance of the device. Moto E comes with Android 4.4.2 KitKat out of the box, and is one of the best features of the device. The UI is mostly stock Android, and Motorola has done very little customization. There are few handy tools like the Moto Alert, the Moto Assist, and the Moto Migrate, which are pretty useful when using the phone. Motorola has already mentioned that the device will get major updates in future, which is again a good sign. As you can see, the UI is pretty much very similar to the stock Android. The phone runs on a dual-core processor with 1 GB of RAM, and the performance is pretty good all around, although there is a slight hint of lag in some areas when you do, especially when you do multitasking. But for an average user, the performance is really good. The gaming performance of the device is also good, since it comes with the Snapdragon 200 processor instead of the MediaTek processor, which you find on most of the devices in this price range. So that's again a good feature of this device. This phone comes with dual SIM capabilities, and there is a dedicated section in the software which allows you to manage the dual SIM, and you can switch between the SIM for making calls, 3G, and also SMS. One of the major issues with Moto E is that when it comes to storage, it comes only with 4 GB of internal storage, which is pretty low for a phone. But the good thing is that you can expand the storage via micro SD card up to 32 GB. Again, there is an issue here. You cannot directly install apps on the storage the micro SD card. You can install only on the phone memory, but major games like the Asphalt 8 Airborne, which comes for around 1.5 GB, those games can be installed on a micro SD card, but you don't have much of a control on whether you can install an SD card or not. That is automatically decided by the system. So that's one of the main issues with this device. So if you plan to install too many games and apps, you might run out of storage pretty soon. The call quality on the device was pretty good, and so as the speakers, which is placed below the device. So overall, in that aspect, the device is pretty good. Now moving on to the camera. Camera is one of the most important aspect of smartphones of late, and most of the smartphones do come with great cameras. But what is really missing on this device is the camera. This comes with a fixed focus camera that is not helping it out anyway. The device has a really bad camera, and we have already uploaded some of the shots taken using this phone. The lack of fixed focus again is a major issue when taking close-up shots or macro shots. And the overall color quality and contrast ratios on this photos taken using this device is really bad, and we would say that it's one of the worst aspects of this phone. The camera should have had a photo focus, even though there is no flash. There are many devices which does not come with a flash, like the Nokia Lumia 520 and the 525 or even the 630, but the fixed focus camera is the real issue with this unit. So overall, we would say this camera is not really good. You can see better camera phones in the same price range. The camera can take videos at 480p, although we would have liked to have 720p. Most of the phones in this price range do record videos in 720p, and this comes with only 480p. That's again a really big issue if you're looking for using this phone as a camera phone as well. So overall, we would say the camera is really worst. You can pick up much better smartphones in this price range with better camera. And coming on to the battery life, on the device is pretty good. We wouldn't say this is really great, but overall we would say for average user you are definitely able to get 1 day of usage. But if you play games like Asphalt, Airborne or other highly graphic rich games, the battery will go down pretty fast, and you will have to charge the phone every night. So most of the users will need to charge the phone overnight, and you will get a day of usage with 1900 mAh battery. So overall, we would say this device in this price range is really good buy, because at 7000 you won't get too many phones which run Android 4.4 KitKat, which has a great build, a good display, and pretty decent specs like the Snapdragon dual core processor and the 1 GB of RAM. The main issues with the device is the storage, where you can't install apps on the SD card. Then the other major issue is the camera. These two aspects, if you keep aside, the phone is really good and worth the buy. Now if you take this phone and compare with the Nokia Lumia 530, which is almost the same price, around 500 to 1000 rupees extra, which one should I buy? That is a bigger question, because if you want the Android, then obvious choice is Moto E. But if you are okay with Windows phone, we would suggest you to pick the Nokia Lumia 520, which has better camera, and with Windows Phone 8.1 you will be able to install apps on the SD card. So those two aspects make Lumia 520 slightly better than the Moto E, but overall we would say Moto E is a really good phone for this price, and really worth the buy. So that's all guys with the review of Moto E. If you have any specific queries, drop a comment and we'll be glad to help you out with your queries. If you like this video, do hit the like button, subscribe to your YouTube channel for more updates, and thanks for watching this video.